Hey guys, welcome back. So the week one ratings are complete. CujoMatty from the community spent a lot of time on these, going through making sure that the equipment and just every little detail that he can come across was about as accurate as he could get it. And he also did a lot of the player photo mapping and everything. So really big lift by CujoMatty to do this, but it's ready to go. So we wanted to package it up, which I did. So when you're going to download it, just head to the main project site here, 2K Resurrected, and click on the link here for roster and franchise, and you'll see we updated here. Week one's available now. All right. So down here you'll see roster downloads, and what I'll do is any rosters that we run for this season, I'll just put them up here and link them for whoever wants to grab whichever ratings you want. So when you click this, you're just gonna be taken to download. I've already have the file downloaded, so it's over here on my desktop, and we'll update that too. So what we'll do is we will take our downloaded file, we're going to extract it, okay, it's over here. Let's shift this over here, pop that back. Alright, so we're going to open our folder, and I'm going to put that one on the bottom. What the heck? Because it tried to even it out the other side. Okay, so here's our folder extracted. You'll see CujoMatty. There's a README in here. Definitely open it. Check it out. Everything was done by Cujo for the most part with everything. So again, a lot of work and effort put in by his part, and we appreciate it. But with this is also going to include the normal ratings. So I know when we take the Madden ratings and ingest them in to convert them for 2K5, they come out with, or have been, with really high overalls. So that's going to be included in the high. And you'll see there's high ratings, low ratings. And then the low ratings roster is one that CujoMatty went through and massaged and made some changes to the file so that you get some normal looking overalls for teams. So, they're both included. Whichever one you want to use, go for it. But what we did, I'm going to take a look at the high ratings first. So in here, same as I did last time, there's a memory card. So if you're playing on emulator, you can just drag this into your emulator folder. And I'm going to open up my emulator location here and put it up top. So my memory cards, I'm going to go in here. And this is, again, wherever your emulator sits, just go into the memory card section. I have them here already, but I'll scrub them. And I'll just copy this one over. And let me go to the low ratings. And we'll copy this one over here too. And then I'm going to launch here, go into configure memory cards, and what I'll do is I'm going to kick both of these out. I'm going to find my high one, I'm going to put that in slot 1, and then let me find low, and we'll put that in slot 2. Okay, I'm just going to boot this real quick. So jump into options, we're going to load. Once this comes up, we should see, not my hard drive, but we should see, okay, so slot 2 has the low ratings. I know slot 2 is low ratings, so that's where I pop the card in for, and then slot 1 is the high rating. So I'm just going to click on roster, back out, let's take a look. We can go to team rosters real quick, but everything, oops, including free agents, was done, so really cool stuff here. Back. Going to go to a quick game, and you can see the overalls for the teams are pretty high. And this is just the way that the ratings are converted over when they're put into the tool. So, but we see that that's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out here, go back to options, and I'm going to load the low ratings, which is in my second slot, I believe. Yeah, slot 2. So we'll pull this up. Okay. Features, roster. Let's take a look here. Cool. And let's go into a quick game. And you can see that, he did a really good job with this. So you can see that the overalls aren't outrageously high like they are when we just run them straight. So whatever algorithm or few tweaks he made to it will give us some normal ratings. So there's that file as well. And then I am going to just pause this, get that out of our way. So that's if you're using the emulator. For PCSX2, you can just drag those 2 memory cards in there, remap them in the emulator, and then load whichever file you want. So now I did include also the PS2 files for both now. So for the high and low, it's going to be exactly the same. Just obviously different rating system. But for PS2, there's a franchise file, and with the franchise file, what I did was I took everything, including all the free agents that CujoMatty did, cleaned everything up. But also for franchise, what I did was I bumped the salary cap, and I also included the draft class. I had to clean it up a little bit because there were some errors with players, but I pulled in the draft class from the rewrite project. So thanks to Tri-Bears for that project. So that'll be in here for any of the franchise guys. At least you'll have a draft class in there, and hopefully it's good. I don't know, I'm not a big franchise guy, but that's included in the franchise file. You have Max and PSU. Either one will work with the PCSX2 emulator. PlayStation 2, I guess it's the same. And then if you come into, and this is if you wanted to, let me not get ahead. So this is if you wanted to just manually load it, either for your console, or if you want to not mess up your memory card that you already have in there, you can go to, and I'll put a link in the description for this, but most people might already have this. It's the MEMCARD GUI. And this utility just lets us open a memory card on the emulator. So what I'll do is I'll just grab our high one here. And if I wanted to import bad system data, well, that's not cool. Let's just delete that. So what I'll do is let me trash these. I'm going to delete them from here. And then what I would do is I would just import, and then I would go to wherever my file, wherever your file sits, go there, pick the Max file or the PSU, it doesn't matter, I'll take either one, and just import it in here, right? And then close out the MEMCARD GUI, because your file, your game save is already loaded on there, and then you would close out here, go back to your emulator, and you would launch that memory card, and your save file would be there. So we could take a peek real quick. Which one was it that I did? The high one or the low one? I forget. Okay, so it was the high one. And then you would just load it from here as you normally would, and then have fun. So let's go there. Let's just pause that again. So that's for that one. PlayStation 3, I converted the files using the PS Save utility. So I don't have a way to test them, so any PlayStation 3 guys out there, just test them and maybe share some feedback and let us know if they're working or not. But I did convert the roster file as well as the franchise file, so they're in there. And then also for the Xbox gang, the UData files here for you. So the game saves in here as well. So you'll have to use probably a cable and or follow whatever method you're using today with Exporter, or I forget what the utilities are, but I don't really play on console anymore, so. I had Fat Explorer. Explorer was one. Madio didn't work for me. The Fat Explorer did. But whatever utility you're using, and I think I even did something before on that, but there's a ton of stuff out there, so I would say just follow however you're doing it. And then also for the Xbox gang, can you please maybe share some feedback just to make sure that the game saves are working okay? So that's going to cover everything for these ratings. If there's any issues with anything, just drop a message in the community. We have a lot of folks, and there's been a lot of help and everything going on, but I would say just jump into help section here and just try to drop all your questions and stuff into the help channel so we can kind of keep it funneled into one spot. And then share some feedback, and we'll see what we can't do to fix or remediate or make some changes to make it better in the future. So I know week 2's out, but we're not really working on those right now. There is one additional piece to this roster release that I want to point out. And that's for anyone that's playing or using our the Resurrected mod already. So what we did, and this is if you want to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my emulator directory. We're including the photos that CujoMatty did as well. Is this going to work for me? There we go. So what you'll do now, this is really cool, is if you go into the mod photos folder of the download, you'll see photos directory as well as a YAML text. So what you can do is you can come into your textures directory for the mod build, come into the com folder, 2K5 folder, and then photos, and this is for the player photos. And what you can do is you can either just drag this entire folder up there and drop it and copy over, or move it, whatever you want. But definitely replace that photos folder. Let's see, it should prompt us once it finishes recognizing everything. Okay, there's a lot of files. So you can replace the destination with this one. I don't need to because I already have the build. But what that'll do is that'll put all of the player photos that CujoMatty's worked on to map back, including coaches, which is really cool. So then the last piece of that would be the YAML. And I put the text file in here, so what you can do is you can come back into your emulator mod directory, go into the text config folder, and then you can fire up your YAML file in there. And there might already be some stuff in here, so what I would do is just do a search. Do a search for player. Okay, it's going to take you to player photos, and you can take this entire piece right here, and you can delete that. Okay, and then open this YAML file. You can do it right in Notepad++. And then what we'll do is we'll take this entire piece of text here like this. We'll copy it. We'll come back to our game YAML, and we'll just paste it in there, right? And just make sure there's no weird spacing here, otherwise you'll get an error. Let's go up here. I'll just find the damn thing again. Here we go. Okay, so we'll take it back there. So and then make sure you save your file, obviously. But that's going to give you all the player photos. All the work that Cujo put into this is really amazing. So huge thanks to CujoMatty and everyone else that's been helping out with everything. So pretty exciting. Hopefully you guys can get this loaded up and use it and share some feedback on the player photos, and maybe if there's any issues with franchise. When I went and tested both of the files for franchise, I ran three years. I simmed through and I did not come across any issues. But again, for some of the franchise guys out there that are a little bit more in depth with stuff, you might come across some things. So, and if you do, that's cool. Just let us know about it, and we can maybe take a look into see how we can maybe either fix it or maybe make it better, or figure out something to improve it. So again, thanks to everyone in the community, all the team guys that have been helping out. We couldn't get to where we are without everybody's help. Really appreciate it. Super excited for the new release that's coming out. Version 1.3 is very close. But at least we have the week 1 ratings up there with the player photos. And if you get stuck, reach out. Otherwise, just enjoy, have fun, and spread the word. Thanks, everybody. Take care.